Hey everyone, Andres back with another video for you guys, and today we're going to be talking about how many calories you should be eating. So a very common thing that I've been seeing over my whole coaching career and a lot more lately that I've been getting more nutrition clients is this chronically low calorie intake and a lack of awareness over how many calories that person should be eating, thinking that their low calorie intake is normal. And when I say low calorie intake, I'm saying like 1,200 to 1,500 calories, sometimes even less than that. People have come to me and they think that that's just normal. That's just what their life is like now. They're maintaining their weight on that calorie intake and just have accepted the fact that that's normal life. And I'm kind of here to tell you guys that that shouldn't be normal life. Maintaining your weight on 12 to 1,500 calories is not sustainable. It's not indicative of a healthy metabolism. And you definitely would need to do something about that if you want to continue to, one, maintain the weight loss that you've had or maintain the body that you currently have. And then if you're looking to lose fat in the future, you certainly don't want to be starting from 12 to 1,500 calories as your maintenance, because then if you're going to try to lose fat from there, that means you're going to have to end up cutting down to 1,000 calories or even less than 1,000 calories in order to see any weight loss or fat loss. And I can't tell you the shitstorm that's going to come with that as far as your hormones are concerned, as far as your metabolism is concerned, as far as your health is concerned. So the big question though is, how many calories should you be eating? What is a normal calorie intake? And so this, of course, is going to be different for everybody. Everybody has a different amount of calories. You know, the USDA says that a 2,000 calorie diet is kind of normal. But we know that if you're a bigger person, you're going to maintain your weight on more calories versus being a smaller person. If you're a more active person, you have a more active lifestyle, more active job, that's going to mean that you maintain your weight on a higher calorie intake as well. So we got to kind of define a range that is healthy as far as calorie intake goes. So I like to relate it to lean body mass. So what I'll do is I'll take how many kilograms of lean body mass a person has, and so that requires body fat measurements. Now, you don't always have a body fat percentage like a DEXA scan or like a bod pod handy, but with enough experience you can kind of estimate body fat percentage based off of pictures, as long as the right lighting and all that kind of stuff is there. So if you get your body fat percentage estimated or taken by a DEXA or something like that, then that's great. But you would then find out how many kilograms of lean body mass you have. So a typical range that I think is healthy for people as far as calories goes is about 30 to 45 calories per kilogram of lean body mass. And so the way you would get that is you take the calories that you're eating, you would divide that by the kilograms of lean body mass that you have, and you would end up with a number, hopefully that's within that 30 to 45 range. Now, this is going to change depending on your activity level, but not necessarily based on your size. So because we're already putting lean body mass as the factor there, it kind of accounts for different people's sizes and things like that. So if you're a more active person, you have a more active job, a more active lifestyle, then that's going to shift that range a little bit up as compared to somebody who's less active. And on the flip side, if you're a sedentary person or more sedentary lifestyle, that might shift the range down a bit. So for a more active person, maybe 35 to 50 calories per kilogram of lean body mass is a fair range. And if you're somebody who's much more sedentary, then maybe 30 to 40, or even a little bit less than 30 to 35, something like that might be normal. So you kind of have to play around with those numbers a little bit based on your activity level. As an example, let's say we have a 33-year-old female who is around 20% body fat. She's eating around 1,800 calories a day, and that's kind of her maintenance. She's been eating that for a while and maintaining her weight at around 140 pounds, so let's say. So 140 pounds, you do the math, at 20% body fat, that means she's holding right around 51 kilograms of lean body mass. You take your 1,800 calories, you divide it by 51, and that gets you right at around 35 calories per kilogram of lean body mass. So that's well within that 30 to 45 range. It's closer to 30, so maybe there's some room to optimize there, but it's probably going to depend on her activity level. So let's say she's a very active person. Let's say she's maybe like a nurse or a teacher or something like that that's on her feet all day, and she also goes to the gym 3 to 4 times a week to lift weights for about an hour and a half each time. And on top of that, let's say she does 1 to 2 sessions of cardio, like maybe she goes hiking for an hour on the weekends, or she goes and does some Stairmaster for 45 minutes or something like that. That is indicative of a pretty high activity level, in which case I would say that a more normal intake for her would be that 35 to 50 calories per kilogram lean body mass, in which case her 35 is on the low end. And so definitely would want to do some optimization in order to get her metabolism up. So that way we set her up just for better health in general, and also maybe set her up for more successful fat loss in the future. Now let's say that she was less active. Let's say she just had a job like most of us where we are at a desk, something like that. So not quite as active. Maybe she goes on a few walks throughout the day to get her activity up a little bit. She still goes to the gym 3 to 4 times a week to lift weights, and she still does maybe a session or 2 of cardio. Now we can more say that her 35 calories per kilogram lean body mass is kind of in the normal range, because it's more, I would use that 30 to 45 more for that person. And let's say that she's very sedentary for some reason. Let's say she's coming off a layoff of an injury, so she's not working out as much, maybe only 1 to 2 times a week, not doing additional cardio, and still has that sedentary lifestyle. Well, then I would say that her metabolism is in pretty good shape, because 35 calories per kilogram of lean body mass for somebody with that activity level is doing pretty well. So you can see how activity level really changes the game a little bit as far as what is healthy and what is not healthy. Now, let's say that you have done the math on yourself and you realize that you are sort of in the danger zone. Maybe you're down at 30 calories per kilogram of lean body mass, or even below that. How do you fix it? Well, the only the way that I found to fix it so far is through reverse dieting. And so that's kind of a scary thing for a lot of people, especially for females these days, that I get a lot of clients who are very afraid to put on fat. They're very afraid to do a reverse diet because they know that it's going to mean they're going to put on a little bit of fat mass, and they're just so used to dieting all the time and trying to maintain where they're at that that's just very scary for them. But it's going to be the only way that you can get out of the endless loop that you're in of maintaining your body weight on such low calorie intake and not being able to lose additional fat and all that kind of stuff. The only way is kind of to take a step back as far as, total fat is concerned, in order to be able to take those steps forward in the future. And so a reverse diet, although it's going to come with a little bit of a fat gain, it's going to help you to improve your metabolism, get you back to a healthy spot, so that you can hopefully take that fat you gained off and then more on top of that, and then be able to reverse diet again, and then you'll be able to maintain your weight on, say, 2,000 calories as opposed to 1,200 calories, and you probably end up leaner than you started with in the first place. It's going to take a long time, because reverse dieting isn't an easy process, and the longer you've been restricted, the longer you've been on low calorie intakes, usually the longer it's going to take for you to normalize and get back to a spot where you can lose fat. But I'm telling you that it's going to be worth it in the end. And there's a lot of testimonials out there from people who would echo that same advice. So if you're somebody who is on these low calorie intake, and you are trying to find the solution, please consider a reverse diet. Please consider working with myself or another coach who can help you with that reverse diet. It's best that you don't do it on your own, especially if it's your first time, because you're going to second guess yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be afraid of putting on fat, and it's going to influence you to not take big jumps or the necessary increases in your calorie intake because of that fear of gaining fat. All right, guys, so I hope you really enjoyed this video on calorie intake and what is normal. If you did, please like this video. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on my social media, Instagram and Facebook. Leave some comments down below as to what kind of videos you might want to see in the future. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.